time. It's clobbering time! Clobberanimo!
Yeah, Clobberanimo indeed, my friends, because it is.
It's clobbering time!
What is it? What time?
It's clobbering time!
Are you sure? One more?
It's clobbering time!
Though it is indeed. What's up, buddies? Thought I'd start out with some M&Ms. How about that? No, well, sorry about that. Bad timing on my part. Anyway, I'm right back where we started. And what a marvelous time, or maybe a DC's time, I had with my good buddy J-Man earlier, just a couple hours ago. Not even a couple hours. Hour and a half. And we're ready to get, sorry, everyone, I was caught myself totally off guard. Because I just was not paying attention. I'm like that. I have a very short attention span these days. So, welcome to Clobberin Times, issue number 470, second show of the day. But that's, excuse me, 570. I can't even count. Not can I can't count. I can't even read. 570 on YouTube, 1,270 overall of Clobberins for the last 14 years. And today's second in the double feature of Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. Maybe it's DCist or DCalist, like Marvelous, DCalist. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. But as always, we honor our great friend Mark C. So, I just want to thank the great J-Man for hanging out with me earlier tonight. Dude, I had just an extraordinary time. Of course, hanging out on Earth B with you was always a lot of fun. Everybody, if in case you missed it, we had our earlier show today on Earth B where we tackled yet another Bob Haney classic. J-Man and I hope we did it either justice or injustice. You make up your mind. But it was a lot of fun. It always is. Hanging out with the J-Man is a lot of fun. And well, may as well do some show notes before I do some shout outs. The only Monday of the month that will be here on my channel doing that is the B Monday, or B. In other words, second Monday of the month. And that was today. It was a lot of fun. The other 3 Mondays over on the Great J-Man's channel, please put your channel in the chat there if you would, buddy. J-Man and Sean and I will be reviewing the Legion of Superheroes, their appearances in chronological order. Because that's how we roll up in your around here. We love the Legion. I'm a big fan of the Legion just maybe 50 years, I don't know. And my good buddy J-Man has just now started reading them and enjoying them. And Sean, again, I think they're both new to it. And yet their enthusiasm is extraordinary and just makes me so happy. And I love that they're enjoying doing it. And I love that we get to hang and talk about these original appearances in order. So I love me some Legion. I got some friends here who are longtime Legion fans, but it's nice to see, people come in who, just getting introduced to it. It's also really cool. So enjoying that every 3 Mondays out of the month on J-Man's great channel. Please go to his channel and subscribe. So what else is going on show note wise? I'm going to make it happen sometime in this summer. By the summertime, I'm going to have my show of shows where I count down Clobby's top 25 all-time favorite comic book stories. And don't let those images make you think you can guess what they are. And that will be a Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk extravaganza coming soon to a YouTube near you. Thank you. Thanks, Deal. Let's see. Other show note, of course. Let's see. I'll be on whenever they're so nice to have me. The great Tom Connor's Midnight's Edge After Dark programs on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. His pop culture talk shows that he does on that 6 p.m. Central. Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I try to be there whenever I possibly can, and I should be on both times this week. I was Tom and I got together for a short abbreviated review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Thursday night, and that was fun. Let's see here. Wednesday nights, of course, Loki's Comic Book Roundtable. The great Loki's my good buddy Stone Loki. If I think we're doing it this week, I don't know. I'm never for sure, but if he's doing it, I'm there. It'll be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and of course, there is the Wednesday night wildcard Wednesday night here, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is just me hanging out with you, talking various geek stuff. Well, sometimes it's a wild card, so sometimes I can do a topic, and most of the time it's just me hanging out with you. But it just depends. And of course, Thursday nights is the Clubhouse. My wonderful, the greatest, most fabulous first officer in the fleet, the amazing Commander R.M. Briggs, joins me, and of course, our fantastic chief engineer, the great Mark D. with us. He also joins me, and we have a lot of fun. This is just all about the three of us getting together, hanging out, talking about various things. We review things. We just talk about whatever kind of geekness is out there, and we cover what we can, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And then, of course, on Friday nights, I'm over my good buddy Nick Weiser's channel. 8:30 Central, he has his Friday night comic shop talk with him and that august group there, a bunch of cool folks. We hang out and have some good fun. And so that's always great to hang out with Nick and the gang. And then this Saturday night Star Trek, every Saturday night, of course. Same Trek time, same Clobby channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Had a great time this past week hanging out with our friends, and hopefully we'll have 4 more episodes this week, and hopefully we'll have another great time as we always do. What a great, I have the nicest, I'm going to say I got the nicest chat and the nicest bunch of friends here all over on YouTube. And maybe everyone says it about their channel, so that's fine. But for me, it sure seems that way. And I've been to a lot of other chats, and they're always really lovely people in all of them, of course. But what a great group we have. And on Saturday nights, it's just superb. And of course, we are in 6th season, getting towards the end of the 6th season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that is that. Now I will shout out our wonderful wrenches, whether they happen to be here or not. I like to shout out the wrenches. Then we'll shout out our friends, all the friends who were popped up in the chat. That's the way we roll up in here. It's just an open geeks talk, open comics talk for Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk. Just hanging out. Of course, the great Eric K, the Bronze Wrencher, the Vindicator Wrench of the North, the great Chris Persia. Thank you so much, buddy, for all you do. Appreciate you. D. Bud Martin, thank you always, man, for being here. The Wrench of Iron. Had a great time hanging out with him. Recently talking some Iron Man. I hope we do it again soon. The great God of Wrenches, Lord Thoth. And, of course, shout out to the lovely Lady Thoth. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my friend. My partner in crime on Earth, B. And fellow Legionnaire reviewer, the Wrench Without Fear, the great J-Man. Thanks for being here, buddy. And had a great time tonight, man. Master of the Clobberin, comic artist supreme, and cover artist of Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs. Hungry Boy, Super Wrench Supreme, Kal-El. All right, my friend. Maddie's Daddy, Reader of Reach Million, and Thor in Vegas. And, of course, the great Fanti Outsidey. Good to see you all. Now, let's see who is in the chat, aside from our good wrenches and stuff. Oh, we have a new member, of course, that popped in earlier, and someone I've never seen before, Miss Susie Satin. Well, Miss Susie Satin, welcome to Clobberin Times. I thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Always, member or not, we appreciate you, of course. But hey, we do want to say we do appreciate our members, and it's great of you to be here. It's nice to meet you. I hope we get to see you in here more often. It was lovely to have you hanging out with us earlier tonight. So big shout out, everyone. Big warm welcome and shout out to, I don't know if she's here at the moment, but the lovely Miss Susie Satin. And then we always love it when the ladies are here as well. So, and also tonight with us is Quagnar. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, friend. And Bush Pan Down. Hello, Bush Pan Down. Good to see you. Let's see here. Quagnar. Well, you never get enough Quagnar. Quagnar, it's good to see you there, buddy. Claude Selling, hey there. Welcome. Welcome, Darth Sepia. What's up, Dorothy? It's good to see you. Dadman Walking and the Dadman Clan. Good to see you there, bro. Hope you and Mrs. Dadman are doing well. Hey, Blunt Philly Reviews. Good to see you there. Looks like I got everybody so far. Of course, as always, anyone who pops in will be duly shouted out. Duly shouted out. Yes. So, like I said, had a great time earlier hanging with J-Man, talking about some more Bob Haney, some Earth B there. And, yeah, this, of course, our Monday night show is about comic books, named after our great friend Mark C., who loved comics. So we try to talk as much comics here. And when it's not completely 100% comics, it's at least comics adjacent. In other words, occasionally we'll review an animated movie, talk about, a movie connected to comics or whatnot. So, or what comics you're reading lately. We do that kind of stuff. It just depends. I guess I'm still waiting on doing something spoilery on as far as, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is concerned. So I won't really go too much into that, but I will ask, how many of you have seen it so far? We don't have to get it. We're not going to get into a discussion of it really or anything like that. But I'm just curious. I've ran a couple of polls. Now, again, I'm nobody. I mean, I don't have that many people voting. But I've run a couple of polls. And that's a good question, Vandy Outsider. I promise you, before the end of the year, I will review that comic. I always forget about it till you're here telling me about it. I even started reading it. And then one night I forgot I had to go do a show. And then, anyway, I won't let you down again too many times anyway. So I'll just do it this way. In fact, don't even bother answering it in the chat. Let me just go ahead and make a poll right now. There you go. Did you go see or are you? I'm talking about the theater now, by the way. Planning to go see. Sorry about the typing, folks. But just curious. We're not going to really discuss the movie or anything yet. Okay. Did you go see or are you planning to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? There we go. So I launched the probe. Yep, I know you saw it for sure. Absolutely. Darcipio asks, did Mark C ever talk about Heavy Metal Magazine? He did from time to time. Yeah, he was a big fan of one of his favorite artists was Mobius. He talked about heavy metal and a lot of other different things connected to that. Yes. So, Blunt Billy Review says Guardians 3 was okay. I'm still chewing it over. I got you. I'm just curious because I ran a couple of polls past couple of shows, except for today. But I mean, past last week, and I just asked if any of you had plans to go see it at all, and it was all usually overwhelmingly no, not even plans to go see it. So I'm doing one more just to get you an idea if anyone went. So Stephen, Kalel's not going. There you go. And we'll take a look at it later. Hey, a lot of people aren't. You got my respect on that. I definitely understand it. And some people will probably watch by ARG, which is fine. I don't care. Look, I have no love for Disney. Wagner will wait and watch it at home. Let's see. Matter of fact, I should have made that different. Yeah, oh well. I'm having some trouble with my YouTube side. There we go. Anyway, so there you go. That's fine. Look, I got you. So yeah, this because we're trying to. Everyone's saying that the movie's going to underperform at the box office, and it is at this moment. While doing okay for most movies, not for a Marvel movie apparently. So probably just buy the Blu-ray, says Fanty. Okay. Will be the first Marvel movie I will watch since Endgame, says Wagner. Okay. But some people just hadn't got around to going to see it yet. Not everybody goes the first day, the first week, So I suppose this week or this weekend, next weekend will determine what kind of legs it's going to have as a box office movie. It's already because people are talking about how it's not doing quite as well or reaching expectations, which would not surprise me that it's not. It doesn't surprise me at all, even though I really liked it. Doesn't mean anything whether you like the movie or not. There's not a lot of goodwill for Disney for good reason. That doesn't mean it won't maintain some legs, and that is we're going to have to see how the word of mouth affects it now. We're in the stage right now where we're about to be in that point at that point where will word of mouth boost it and give it legs, or will it matter? Will a lot of people go, yeah, I hear it's good, but screw Disney, or yeah, I hear it's good, but I don't want to go all that trouble paying all that money and all that kind of stuff. Or they might, again, will they just say, I'll watch it when it comes out on the so-and-so, the streamers or what have you. I mean, I think that's probably what's going to happen. That will be why it won't underperform, because people are trashing it. A lot of people are Some don't like it, but a lot of people are liking it. So a lot of people are kind of tired of Hollywood. So yeah. Yeah. I understand, Fanty Outsider. I hear you do. Yeah. A lot of people do that. I still like to go to a movie theater. No, it's not cheap. I still enjoy it if it's a big spectacle like this, but this is the last Marvel movie I go to. This is it. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, I don't know. I don't see any way they're ever going to coax me back into the theater. Right now, I don't even know what the upcoming movies are, to be honest with you, other than Kraven the Hunter, which I know it's not a Marvel Studios, but you know what I'm saying? It's a Marvel character. No interest in that. I've never had any interest in these villain movies that they're doing with these Sony properties. It's just dull to me. I didn't give a shite about Venom, never did. Morbius, didn't go two craps about that, and never need to watch that. Kraven the Hunter, same deal. You know, he's a Spider-Man villain, and he doesn't need his own damn movie. Venom doesn't need his own damn movie. I know people like Venom. I can't stand him. But even villains I like. Hey, Brian Hepburn, good to see you. I don't think villains need their own movies. I just don't care about it that much. I don't care. I went to see Joker, not even the Joker, and everyone loves that drivel. And I don't like that movie. I think that I thought it was crap, overrated drivel, but a lot of people like it, which is fine, you know, whatever. But I didn't care for it. And that's not even a DC property anyway. They just use that name to attach a bigger budget to an art film. And the Marvels won't be going to see that. And you know what? I forced myself to see all these other ones. The only times I didn't go to the theater was we had all these different theater restrictions at theaters and stuff when was it when Black Widow and Shang-Chi came out. So in normal times I probably would have went to the theater to see those two, but I didn't. Those are the only ones I didn't see at the theater, but I watched them and Spider-Verse 2. Spider-Verse movie's coming out. I hated the first one, so won't be going to see that. Yeah, 2 hours of jerky animation pass. Exactly, J-Man. But the Marvels, and again, on the Marvels, to be fair, let's say we weren't in these bad times of how bad, let's say it wasn't really a movie that was made by a bunch of jackasses. It was just a normal Marvel movie. There's nothing that would get me in the theater to see the Marvels. I don't like Bree's terrible Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers is fine when she's Miss Marvel. She's not Captain Marvel. I mean, they screwed over Marvel. I hate her movie. Then you have Monica Rambeau. I know a lot of people like her from a certain age. I never could stand Monica Rambeau in the comics. I thought her costume looked stupid when they first announced Monica Rambeau. I know this is unpopular here because, you know, people have been saying, oh, Monica Rambeau would be so cool. I'd rather have her than Carol Danvers. I don't really care about her either. When they first put her in the comics, it was just a couple of years after they killed Marvel. When that brilliant Death of Captain Marvel by Jim Starlin. And so when she pops up, I'm looking at this stupid costume, and they're calling this is a woman as calling him Captain Marvel. No, I wasn't down with it then, never will be. And she looked like she had a goofy costume. I didn't care. I know they called her Photon for a while later or whatever. I don't know, and I don't care. So I never gave a shit about Monica Rambeau. And then when I saw her in WandaVision, she was terrible. The actress is fine, don't get me wrong, but the way they wrote her character was awful. So I didn't give a shit about what's her name. It was Monica Rambeau. So again, two characters I don't care about. And then you got the third one, Kamala Khan, who I never had any regard. I never read her comics, never cared about her comics. No interest in Kamala Khan. So you got three leads in the movie that I don't even like and have nothing for. So whatever. I mean, I thought I liked Carol Danvers until she became this modern version of Captain Marvel, but I don't like Carol Danvers now. So, especially the one by Brie Larson. So, they have nothing to drag me into theater. And I like Nick Fury, but after they ruined him in the first Captain Marvel movie, you know, there's nothing there for me. Nothing. So even if I wasn't completely cheesed off at the MCU, hailed him Neurotic for coming up with that title. I think it was him. I just don't. there's nothing there for me. Nothing there. Let's see. Steven says, the Spider-Verse movies look like running on a graphics card on a PC from 20 years ago. Wagner says, Disney, Marvel would have to clean house on everyone currently involved in production and issue an apology for the past few years before I would consider going back to one of their movies. Well, Wagner, I don't blame you one bit, dude. Dave C., what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't blame you. So they don't really have anything for me. Like I said, I really enjoyed Guardians 3. Before that, I haven't enjoyed anything since. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, everyone really loves it. I know it's considered a Sony and whatever. I do like it, but I have a lot of issues with it as well. It was not a perfect film for me. It was pretty overrated, to be honest. I have a lot of problems with the story itself. I enjoyed it enough. The time I only saw it one time on the theater. I've never bothered to go watch it again. I don't want to buy it or anything like that. And when it comes on the streaming thingy, maybe I'll look at it. But I don't really. I mean, it's not really that in love with it either. It was good enough. Oh yeah, a literature devil. I'm familiar with him. He's a great channel there. Pay the Outsider. I hear you, buddy. I know what you mean. So, yeah, I don't really. So I got nothing for him. I really enjoyed Guardians 3, but that's about it. All right, buddy. Take care, Jay, man. Thanks for hanging, man. Appreciate it. And again, had a great time hanging earlier. It was a fun show, buddy. We more Bob Haney to come. More Bob Haney to come. Hey, John Rupus. What's up, buddy? Good to see you there. So, was anyone reading anything? It didn't have to be new. I mean, what do you read now? This is a comic stock thing. And what are you reading if you can't, if you don't, look, I don't read new stuff. I did buy that Avengers War Across Time because of actually had it brought to me. I've read that because it's a throwback to the 1963 Avengers, and takes place in that timeline. It's Alan Davis on the art and Paul Levis on the story. So there's 5 issues. About that, it's okay. It's kind of fun. At least it feels like real deal Avengers and has no modern contamination. And by the way, this is me being like, if you're not going to movie theaters, this on comics, I don't go buy them at the store either. I bought a couple of these facsimiles recently, but I don't buy any of these series either, except for that one. I usually just kind of look at them on something line, where you can read comics online. Anyway, and like that new Shazam thing by Mark Waid, just didn't do it for me. Too much of the modern trappings. That new Clobberin Time series, I've tried the first couple of issues, just because it's a thing comic, maybe, and I don't think I can get the hang of modern comics, folks. I don't see them ever getting me back. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's optimal, but it's okay because there are plenty of great ones out there that I've either read a long time ago, but not recently, so it's fun to go revisit them. It feels fresh and fun again. Or some that slipped through the cracks that maybe that I haven't read, which happens as well. But you might be reading some new stuff. Hey, Lemon Pie, what's up? You may be reading some new stuff, and if you are, good. What are what are some of the comics you're reading now, whether old or new? Are any of you even reading comics anymore? Are any of you even bothering to read comics anymore? Most of my friends who buy modern comics don't talk about them that much. Not they're embarrassed or whatever. I mean, they'll say, yeah, about this, that, whatever. But usually when we talk about old stuff. Fairty says Spider-Man No Way Home, they really didn't think out the ending. They didn't think out the ending. What if they just made everyone forget about Mysterio he was dead? No one remember he pitted Spider's identity. He pitted Spider's identity. Oh. He pitted it? I got you. Anyway. Well, the whole premise of No Way Home for me is killed at the outset of the film, where your entire movie hinges on Doctor Strange being a moron. Not Peter now. Peter is, he's a dope kid he's a kid asking for something crazy and fanciful. The Sorcerer Supreme should know better than to do what Doctor Strange does at that beginning of that movie. And Doctor Strange in the comic would never do that. It was batshite crazy. And it's just the way it goes. Hey, a new friend, Juxtapose. Hello there, Juxtapose. Welcome to Clobberin Time. Says, I'm actually reading Clobberin Time. Just got issue 2, picked up Shazam 1, and picked up Batman 195 JQ cover. Shazam artwork looks fun. Well, it's good to see you. There you go. So we got someone who's reading some new stuff. Good to see you, and thank you for popping in. Good to hear that. Let's see here. All views are welcome here, my friend. The only thing I read these days are my trade paperback collection, says Kal-El, of older comics and the DC Rebirth comics before that series dropped the Rebirth name and went off the rails. I got you. Wagner is currently reading the Tomb of Dracula Omnibus editions. Colin and Palmer, great stuff. Colin and Palmer art. Oh, yeah, but was it Nick and I and the gang back last Halloween? We went back and reread some Monster comics, some Marvel ones, and we reviewed. We all kind of reviewed the first issue of Tomb of Dracula. And I've been meaning to go back and just deep dive on that. Great comic. But Wolfman took over like issue number 7 or something like that, and did it for like forever. Gene Colan on that book, incredible. Tom Palmer, great inker. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Hello there. Welcome. Asks who would you replace Majors with as Kang? I don't know. The guy that plays the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 probably would have been a good choice, but he's already played that, so that won't work. The guy that plays Mordo, another guy with a weird name that's tough to pronounce, Ejiofor or whatever, from Serenity, and the guy who plays Mordo, Baron Mordo, would be pretty good. But again, he's already a Marvel character. I'm only saying because I don't have an idea because it kind of puts them in a mess. And now they would look like they're race swapping if they go back to the way he really was, because he wasn't really a black man in comics. Just saying. But now they've race swapped. There's one thing they're not gonna race swap him back, so they will look for another actor of color, if you will. And I don't know who they would get. I have no clue. But they're probably gonna have to get somebody, right? Brian Hepburn says, Doctor Strange, unfortunately, wasn't a continuation of the guy we last saw in Endgame. They reverted him back, and that carried through the Multiverse of Madness quite a ways. Reverted him back? Maybe I missed something. Doctor Strange was a surgeon. You just don't cut into people. You need X-rays and a plan. Same with using magic, and it requires exactness. Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Brian Hepburn. Know about him being he wasn't a continuation of the guy we last saw in Endgame. They reverted him back, and that carried through the multiverse of madness quite a way. Did they? Okay, if you could explain that, could be my just garbage memory. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I got to admit, and I've watched these movies a lot. But Bush Pan Down for $5. Thank you so much for the super chat. You're too kind, man. Really appreciate that. Very kind of you. He says, we need top 25. What is the criteria? Marvel, DC, Silver Surfer #4 by Kirby is my favorite cover. Silver Surfer #4. Actually, it's John Buscema. You'll find that's John Buscema, my friend. But yes, great stuff. I love that. I love that issue, by the way. Only back issues for me. Titan, Conan comic. Clobber, you rock. You rock right back, sir. Now, are you asking for my what will be my criteria? That's a good question. And what he means, folks, is I think is my criteria for no problem there, but I understand. We all do it. My criteria. Okay, he was the person he was in the first Doctor Strange while learning. Was he? But this is way after Endgame, though. This takes place after Endgame, man. Are you sure? The new Kang should be Mexican Iron Man. I agree with that. Yes, your criteria: writing, cover. Okay, my criteria for the list. I think it will be one. No. It'll be comic book stories. Stories. Now, it flows like this. It can be one-off story, one issue. It could be continued 2, 3, 4-parter. It could be a 10-parter. It could even be a mini-series or maxi-series. But because that's one. In other words, Kingdom Come's one story, even though it's a 4-issue series. The Coming of Galactus is 3 issues. That counts. On the other hand, this monster's 1 issue. That counts. The Kree Skrull War is considered a saga, so that counts as a story in my criteria. Born Again is 7 issues of a comic that was, of course, later compiled into a trade and an arc. That counts as a story. So that's my criteria. So it's not just 1 issue of something. It can be multiple issues, even if it's 1 story. If you see what I'm saying? Infinity Gauntlet, 1 story. Yes. If Infinity Gauntlet were to make my list, and I read it recently, I'm not saying it would. I don't know if it would. And I like it and everything. It'd be 1 story. If the Starlin run on Warlock technically can be construed as 1 story, you can go ahead and lump that as a 1 saga. It's a saga and it counts because he did only 1 thing with it and he stopped. Darcibia says, Clobby, Marvel and Feige screwed up by getting rid of Iron Man, RDJ, and Cap. I agree. Cap Evans and making Thor laughing stock, and that's the bottom line. I'm with you, buddy. Hey, Jay Picasso. I absolutely, Endgame is full of idiotic tragedy like that. Darcibia, look, it has great scenes in it, and then it has terrible scenes like that. And they make Cap a quitter, they kill Iron Man, and they make Thor laughing stock. All horrible decisions, in my opinion. So I'm right there on the same page with you on that one, sir. I think it was a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. So, so basically, that's why this is so tough. There's so many great stories that are one-offs, so many great stories that are sagas. So I wouldn't peel, like, for example, I wouldn't pull 1 issue out of Watchmen. No, that's got to go as a 1 whole story. I wouldn't pull 1 issue out of any saga. It's got to be part of the story. But obviously there are many great one-off 1-issue stories. I already have the first 10 mostly chosen. I'll probably move them around a little bit. And then I was thinking, man, this is going to be easy. I had a dream last week thinking, why didn't I finish this thing before? Then I've gone back, oh, man, there's so many to fill out 25 and put them. Yeah, man, that's going to be tough. Fanty says, so guessing coming of Galactus, Man this Monster, The Thing versus Champion, Great Darkness Saga, Action Comics 1, Detective 27, and that's that ST and that Sting issue that was all Wesley all the time. Some of those will be in there. I mean, the Great Darkness Saga counts as one story, and I'm kind of partial to it. So it has a good chance of making it. Coming of Galactus, of course, has a good chance of making it. This monster, let's just, I mean, we don't even have to hide from that one. I mean, I'm not even going to, Watchmen, I'm not even going to try to fool you into thinking it might not make it, but, I can tell you this, the list will be very boring for most people because most of them, not all, by the way, but most of the stories, sagas, if you will, on this list, if I think about it, I just said most, were published in the 20th century. How about that? Bush Pandown says, they all Dark Horse, Valiant, Image. I mean, it doesn't matter who published what the publisher is, as long as it's a comic book story, or their game. I don't know if I can't think of a Dark Horse story off the top of my head that I would have in there personally, but I'm not finished with my research on it yet. So Valiant comes close because early 90s Valiant comics for a couple of years in those first few years had some great stories. Jack's Mama, good to see you. Everyone, thank you so much. Everyone get an M in that chat for our wonderful Jack's Mama. She is our good buddy Mark C's mama of our good buddy Mark C's son, Jack. But I loved some of those early Valiants. And there might be an Image book. I don't know. I'm not big on the Image stuff, but Alan Moore did do some Image stuff. Scipio says, Claudia, what do you think of Adam Driver maybe playing Reed Richards in the new FF flick? I wouldn't. I mean, not that I care about what they do with that movie because they're going to screw it up anyway. And the dumber the casting, the more fun I'm going to laugh at him. But I would think he'd be a terrible choice personally. I mean, nothing against the actor. I think he's a good enough actor and for most stuff, but not someone in any ideal situation that I would cast as Reed Richards. I wouldn't. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, not that he couldn't, do a good job at anything, I guess. Oh, Jack saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Cool. I hope he enjoyed it. But personally, yeah, I wouldn't really. I mean, it wouldn't. If I actually believe that they're going to even possibly cast an FF movie properly, he would be someone I would not want if I had any kind of faith like that. But yeah, that's what I mean. That's the only way I really know how to say it, to be honest. It's so good to see you, Jack's mama. I hope Jack is doing well. Oh, really? No kidding. Jack's birthday's today? Oh my goodness. Happy birthday, Jack. Jack's mama, please, if you can, if you talk, I don't know if he's probably maybe past his bedtime, I don't know, but he's a youngster. But please give him our best birthday wishes from Clobberin Times and Mark's old buddy Clobby and all of those people here who remember Mark and I love him. And a big happy birthday to Mark's son, Jack. I hope he had a wonderful birthday. That's amazing. So let's see what 20 votes. Still no. I was wondering if now that the movie has some positive word of mouth, if anyone had changed their mind, because I was getting like 80% to 20 no's about going to see the movie. And now this is a little bit different. I mean, it's not 80% anymore, but 67% says no. 33% yes. Very interesting. What's up, Keely Chow? Roll Tide. Very interesting indeed how that's kind of moved a little bit. This is the third time. Just like polling. Look at the poll, political polling, how opinions move a little. Both of the first two times, I don't think I could get it to move off of 80 of people saying they will go see it. And I mean, actually go to the theater to see it. He's 14. He sometimes lurks. Okay. Well, big shout out to him. 14 years old. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I've not seen him in a couple of years. I know he must be growing up, and I hope he's doing great. Bush pen down cannot be swayed. I don't blame you, my friend. Hold to your guns. Stick to your guns. You don't want to go see that? Don't go see it. I cannot blame you at all, buddy. I don't blame you at all, sir. Go see that rubbish. By the way, I just realized, Fancy Outsider, I know what story you would put on this list. Superman 147. No, that's a different one. 165, right? 165? Fanny says, the only 21st century story I'd even consider would be Final Crisis, five issue series of Legion of Three Worlds. It was a solid Legion story, one of their last. I didn't like. I couldn't stand Final Crisis. I mean, I know when you're talking about it's different. It was Legion of Three Worlds, but the actual Final Crisis thing itself was just, I thought it was terrible. But I can think of 147 and 164. Okay, I got you. See, I can think of it. All right, 21st. This is interesting. How many stories from the 21st century would I put on this list that I'm making? I know one's for sure, so I won't say what it is. But there's one story for sure that's going on Clobby's top 25 favorite comic book stories. One from the 21st century that I know of right now. I don't. There could be another one. Maybe. Wow, I'm skeptical. No. There are. I think there are a couple, but they're probably from Astro City. So, and there's a segue. Speaking of that, what I've been reading a lot lately, as I often do. Well, I'll show that in a minute. See. That was 2008, so pre-Garbaggio, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the Lightning Saga. I don't think it would make my top 25 or anything, but that was an okay Legion. Kind of bring the Legion back a little bit. Yeah. So no, I'm just that old and old. I'm just that much of the old timer sitting on this bench. What's a good DC story for a Marvel guy like me? Okay. Bush pan down. That's an interesting question. I would say. Now, I don't know. Are there DC heroes that you like just enough to get by, even if you're not your favorite because you like Marvel better? I mean, would you like what would be an easier sell for you? A Superman story, a Batman story, some other character? Because I can, as far as great Superman story, All-Star Superman is great. That's one of the few from the 21st century that I love. Going back to the 20th century again, Kingdom Come would be one I would recommend. Also, Golden Age. That was from the '90s. It was an Elseworlds 4-issue prestige format book by James Robinson and Paul Smith. That's one. I can't think of too many Batman ones off the top of my head from recent times, anyway, or even from like. Let's see. Wagner says, it would be easier to do a bottom 25 stories using 21st century comics, says Wagner. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Star Super says, Clobberin, do you have the Aliens versus Predator comic from Dark Horse? I love those. No, I don't. I can't say that I do. It was nothing ever against them or anything. I just never bought those. I did buy some of those crazy ones where with different superheroes fighting Predator. Batman versus Predator, Judge Dredd versus Predator, Tarzan versus Predator, Magnus versus Predator, Archie versus. I don't think I bought Archie. I think there was an Archie versus Predator, but I can't remember. This guy versus Predator, that guy versus Predator, him, he, all these people versus Predator. I bought some of those, but I never did get Aliens. Well, I can't say never. Maybe I did when it first came out. I might have picked that up with Darth, but I can't swear to it. I don't know. But you're not alone. A lot of my good friends really love the Aliens Predator stuff, and they were cool. It was a nice idea, and of course, it led to movies, but to varying degrees. I think I saw like one or two of those movies, but it's cool stuff, though. It is cool stuff. Lizzo versus Predator. That's right, Pan. What's up, Simply Steve? What's going on, bud? So, I can't remember if I ever did there, Darth, but I don't think so. But I know a lot of people who did those. Very popular. My buddy Loki, Great Stone Loki, was a big fan of those. He loved them. He and I we planned for a long time. We're going to do that Batman versus Predator. We're going to review that, the first one, which I believe was written by Dave Gibbons, but drawn by like Andy Kubert or something like that. Strangely enough. So, yeah. Archie versus Predator. Yeah, of course, I think there was one. So it's going to be tough to pick. It was the top 10's easy to pick. The later ones are but I'm going to do it. And again, there will be a few from the 21st century, but they'll be like shorter stories. And I mean, quite honestly, they're going to be probably a bunch of Astro City ones. There's one other one there. What about the last Fantastic Four story from 2007 by John Romita and Funky Flashman? Basically by John Romita, you mean? I couldn't get into that one. Did you like that one, Fanty? Wasn't too big on that one, personally. It's going to be tough. When people see the list, they're going to go, how come there aren't more FF stories on here? Because I'm going to have some FF stories, but there are a lot of great ones. But I'm doing this by, it's coming from all over the place. I mean, this is stories now. Yes, of course, they have great art. But, there's some comics that have, like, good enough stories that have fantastic, amazing art. Then there's some stories that have brilliant comics that have great stories, and the art's not always quite up to it. So this list is for the stories, because we do a lot of different types of things that are concerning the art of comics. Like, I'm going to do my favorite artist list, or I'm going to do my favorite covers, favorite eras for certain artists, favorite art characters. Which artists are best for certain characters, that sort of thing. This is going to be about the stories. So it could be a story in some cases where the art could have been better, but it was still good enough, and the story was brilliant. And this is going to be about the story. Yeah, I'm not going to do the decade thing. You know how long that would take, Fanty? I'm just going to do my own personal life experience on it. And I'm sure I will not please anyone at all. And I'm going to hear about, yeah, well, how about this one? What about that one? It'll usually, it's never like, why did you like that story? I mean, that happens, but usually it's going to be like, well, what about, what did you leave this one off for? Stunt Brat 77 Smith. What's up, lovely lady? It is good to see you. Got a lady here, folks. Got a lady here, guys. Suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters. So, yeah, it's rarely when people will go, well, why do you put that one on there? It's usually like, why do you have this one on there, man? And all I can tell you is, oh yeah, that was sometimes. Remember how many comic stories there are? It's tough to make sure you remember them all because there could have been one you really liked, but you read it. I mean, when you're as old as me, you read it 40 years ago. You're like, oh shite. That's the reason why I'm holding off on the list a little bit. Will order matter 1 through 25? What is your dream F forecast? It says, thank you for that super chat so much. You're too kind. Let's see here. We'll order for 125. In a sense, not too Bush. I'd say to you like this. Do I love number 14 that much more than I love number 24, for example? No. If they're in the top 25, I love them. I mean, I'm sure you're shocked to hear I've read a few funny books in my time. I've read a lot of comics. So a top 100 would be brutal. So if they're the top 25, for me, they're the cream. And I probably even left something out that shouldn't be. That's going to happen sometimes too with these lists. Like when we do with movies or whatever. So do I love my number 16 that much more than my number 25? Not that much more, but they're in certain order. Now, when you get into the top 10, it's the rarefied air. Do I love my number 9 that much more than my number 12 or 13? No, but well, it's so lovely to have you here, Stunt Brat. So, yeah, Bush, I'd say to a certain degree, that's why you rank them, but it's never because I love that you asked the question because there have been times back when I used to do my old show, people would get mad at the ranking. Not everybody, but there was this one dude. I tell you a story about where I was doing the ranking. I forgot. Oh, it was TV shows. Okay, it was TV shows. And I was doing the show with my good buddies, Matt and Flash. Flash, of course, is close to my age. Matt is his son, so naturally he's closer to my son's age. And it was about our top favorite TV shows, 25. We were counting them down on my old show on Blog Talk Radio many, many years ago now. A lot of fun. Everyone was having a great fun. We had a chat similar to this. Didn't have any visual capabilities, but we had a chat, And we had a wild chat. I mean, the chat we were all good friends and tons of people in there and everyone just goofing on us. And there would, everyone having a blast, talking. It was just so much fun, just like it is now here. More primitive, but, it's primitive. But it was live. You got to stream two hours live. Whereas here you can go longer if you want. But anyway, so we had to get it in kind of fast. But and then the last hour would still record. You just couldn't, that would have to be saved for later. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. There was a guy getting pissed off at Matt from the get-go because Matt, he put at his number 25, he had Star Trek the original series. Bear in mind, Matt's a lot younger. Because that's going to be way up at the top for me and his father and this guy. Well, but Matt still had it on his list. He had it at 25. And he's a lot younger. And, it's a personal list. You get to make your own list. Nobody's saying that that it hurts you. You have to agree with anybody. Dude kept getting mad at him and taking shots at him in the chat. And he was arguing back and forth because Matt was a shit stirrer, which was funny. And he was getting the guy really pissed off. Well, he was just saying, the guy started messing with him. He started it. And so Matt started giving him smart ass remarks. Then the guy's DMing me on Facebook in the middle of the show, telling me to do something about Matt. And I said, what the hell? And it's like, look. And I said, dude, I don't have time for this. I'm doing a show. If you don't like opinions, that's your business. Are you 12 years old? And this guy's older than me, but this guy was a. I'm not gonna. Yeah, he's not listening now, but I mean, just I don't know. I was always trying to be good friends with the guy. Just try to be friends with him. So he's whining about some guy winding him up about opinions when he started it, insulting him because he dared to have Star Trek at 25. And Matt wouldn't take the shit. They didn't take any shit off of him, so he went. And the guy started it. I'm a big believer in don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So I kept telling the guy, I said, look, I don't know what you want me to do about it. Go cry to mommy. I don't want to hear it. Everybody else was fine, but this one dude, he's whining that it's not like he said that shows our picture of shit. It's on his top 25 list. It just happened to be low. So this thank you, Bush. So maybe like a week later, when we did our follow-up show talking about it, someone asked this numbnuts what his number one show would be. Bear in mind, he was crying and whining about us not having him in the right order that he liked, and that Matt had his at 25 instead of where he thought it as apparently we thought, and this guy had a nickname with Trekker in it. Mexican Iron Man, what's up, dude? And then when he put his in order, he didn't have Trek at number one. Look at that, Mexican Iron Man. Your problem is that Mexican Iron Guy, we need to cancel that dude. Oh yeah, we can't cancel the greatest YouTuber of all time. Mexican Iron Dude is the number one YouTuber out there, folks. And he rocks. Good to see you there, buddy. So when I do this list, hey man, if it's in my top 25, then you know I love it. You know it's a big deal to me. Oh dear. Anyway, so where were I? Where were I? Oh, there we are. All right. Mexican Iron Man has like the best stream out there. When are you streaming next, by the way, dude? I mean, on your own channel. He's gonna get me. Oh well. Good to see you there, brother. Well, hey man, it's all out of love. Who would not? Let me tell you, I should do a survey. Who wouldn't watch a Mexican Iron Man stream, huh? Am I right? Everyone would love that. We'd all watch it, man. Yeah. So, but I'll stop picking on him. I'm just honored to see him pop in, man. Good to see you there, my brother. Okay. Let me check the poll. All right. The question was, did you go see, or are you planning to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Got 27 votes in, and whoa, man, this has changed. Now it's 59% no and 41% yes. And again, I'm in nobody nothing right here, so no one really, watches this. No one, I don't get a big vote one way or the other here. But the other night, when I had 50-something votes, it was like 80% no, 20% yes. The question was, are you going to see Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3, Volume 3? And the night before that, I did another one before that. Oh, well. I tried to get you to live stream, buddy, but I don't blame you. So, it's gone down. I mean, this is look, this is anecdotal. It doesn't mean anything. But does this mean, will the good word of mouth on this movie turn the tide? Probably not. Not enough anyway. It might not hurt. It won't hurt it, obviously. Yeah, Matthew Pounder, what's up, buddy? Anyway, I've been reading stuff. I've been reading comics. And I don't just mean Bob Haney. And I don't just mean Legion. Yeah. So, where's my stuff? Ezra Goldstein, shalom. Shalom, sir. Good to see you, my buddy. Yeah. How you doing on this fabulous Monday night? We're starting the week off right, man. Everyone's in a good mood. Well, Fanty, why do you want to go picking on Mexican Iron Man? The man, I never understood why people have a problem with picking on Alf. Alf sucks. Mexican Iron Man, I'm thinking with you, but Alf is a doofusy, crappy. I don't know. Never understood why people like that show. I don't know. So he's not the only one that doesn't like Alf. You know. I mean, okay, I never watched it that much, but I don't think I ever watched it. I watched enough to know I didn't want to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. You see that, you know, I don't want to watch this stupid puppet. How many Bushpan announces how many times has Mexican Iron Man seen Rambo now? A few times. He's seen all of them now. From what I hear, our buddy Mexican Iron Man has seen Rambo movies now. And that's another thing. I always get a kick out of the, you know, certain movies that people go nuts if you haven't seen them. I'm just as guilty. Not on that. I've seen Rambo, but I can tell you, just like Mike, a Mexican Iron Man, you know, he got nailed because there's some movies in it. And man, if there's some movies, if you guys knew I haven't seen, I would get the same thing he's getting. Stephen Kalel says, full disclosure, I used to like Alf as a kid, but let's just say that it hasn't aged well. And of course, everyone's kid, it could have been, you know, there's nothing wrong with liking it, dude. We say Rambo 1 through 4, yeah. Hey, Vinny Whitlock, hello there, welcome. What are you doing, Chris? He's not streaming. Oh man, we got to pick up, man. I have a guest. Mexican Iron Man is a distinguished guest here, my friends, and you will treat him with respect. Clobberers and clobberonis, and clobberonimos, and welcome, Vinny. Good to see you. I don't know what you thought of the Rambo movies, Mike, but I would recommend staying away from that last one. Don't let him talk you into watching the last one. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do that. There's no necessity to seeing any movie. I get it. Like if there are people that even in our age range that probably never saw Star Wars, and it would be a puzzlement. You go, wow, the reaction should see, wow, you never seen Star Wars? Wow, that's crazy. But then you go, I'm sure there are people who haven't seen Star Wars. I've known people who never watched Star Wars. It's weird. To us, it sounds weird. It's really not that weird. It's a movie. They probably just saw the talk about it like, it's not my kind of thing. It's not that big of a deal. And I love Star Wars. But that's one of the most popular movies ever made. And yet there are people who've never seen it. That's always an interesting topic to me, by the way. There's always something that's pretty popular that somebody has not watched for whatever reason. I have known human beings that never watched a Star Wars film. And it's okay. Wagner says, I've never watched Titanic. I wish I'd never watched Titanic. I got one on a blind date, the kind you wish you were blind on, to see that in 1998. I see it, Chris. Yeah, oh my God. What are you gonna do? But Mike, if you're still there, buddy, don't watch the fifth one. 5, right? The fifth one was the last one, that latest one, right? Don't watch Rambo 5, man. It's just if you like the movies, and if you didn't like them, it's real no point to watching it then. But if you did like the other ones, in any way, just a little bit, even a teensy weensy bit, the fifth one's just ruins it. I mean, I think it kind of dumps on it. I think it's kind of sad. The Rambo cartoon. I never watched the Rambo cartoon. I wasn't watching Saturday morning cartoons when that came on. I don't even remember much of Rambo 3. I know I probably watched it, but first two I remember, of course. And the fourth one, I went to the theater to see that. So, anyway. Oh, boy. Steven said, was it? Kal-El says, I consider anyone who hasn't seen a Disney Star Wars movie except for Rogue One to be extremely fortunate. I wish I had access to an MIB neuralizer to wipe my memory of those films. I'm with you. And if Rogue One had to go into the bargain, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I thought it was okay, but I'm with you. Freddie Mercury didn't like Star Wars, according to Bicycle. According to Bicycle? Is that a talking bicycle that said he didn't like it? I'm not. Who's Bicycle? Is that a code word, Matthew? Probably I've never worked with Sly, only visited the sets. Okay, gotcha. I like the Rocky movies. I just don't like the, the Rambo movies are okay. Don't get me wrong. I like them, but not that last one. Bicycle the song. Okay. Thank you. It's in the song? Okay. No, I got you. Okay. Damn me for being slow. All I can think of is bicycle repairman, but how? Time for something embarrassing tonight, folks. You ever put out a tweet and it got picked up by a lot of people you don't know, and they liked it? We give you a like on your tweets. It's not like they're being mean. And somebody that's kind of cringy liked it. Does it ever happen to any of you? Darcibio says, Clobby, I watched Titanic. It was the most excruciating movie I ever watched. 3+ hours of pure. Wasn't it 5 hours? It seemed maybe 3. I thought it felt like 5 to me, buddy. And I was on a blind ass date that I wish maybe blind. Saturday morning cartoons are Hercules. Yay. So every now and then I like to tweet out random comics that I'm reading. I don't know, I don't know why, because I tweet things. I'm bored. What am I gonna tell you? I love reading older comics and better comics, and I've been went back and just one of the greatest comics ever made. You always hear me go on and on about all the time. I know is Astro City, and this past weekend I read some great issues of Astro City. It's just a brilliant comic, one of the greatest out there. This take on superheroes, Kurt Busiek's Astro City, It's just it's ingenious. I know I go on about it a lot, but Astro City is a great comic. And so I kind of just went. I've read them all, but it's been years since I've read some of these. So I decided to just kind of do like a random, like here and there, picking from all over the Astro City tree a little bit. And I read these 6 comics. I'll talk about them a little bit, but and so I put this little thing together. I just tweeted it out, as I'm often want to do, that I've been reading these issues of Astro City. I was, of course, very hyperbolic in my compliments about it, and I tweeted it out. Again, I did not hashtag it. I just tweeted it out. I'm reading, that's it. And I got tons of likes, including by the writer of the comic, Kurt Busiek, which has happened a couple of times. It's pretty cool. Kurt Busiek, and I may not see eye to eye on some things in the world, but to say the least, but I love his Astro City comic. I think some of the most brilliant comics ever written, in my opinion. Since they came out in 1995, he's done some of the greatest work in comics, in my opinion, story-wise, of course. Many of his stories will be in my top 25. What he does with the superhero genre is unlike anyone ever does with it. So a lot of people that I don't know click like on there. Include. Oh God, I don't know if I want to say it. You're gonna laugh at me. And no, I don't want anybody being mean to the guy. I gotta like. Vinny, I would highly recommend Kingdom Come. Yep. If you ever get a chance to pick that up, Vinny, it's a great comic. Yeah, and even though it's by Mark Waid, who's never mind. Great art by Alex Ross. It's a great story. If only they would adapt that as like a film, like an animated film, animate that style, that of art. Man, I would love to see that as a movie. An animated film in particular. I mean, that's what I would really want to see. Clobby, Superman forever. Gonna go eat, bro. Okay, big hugs to you, Stunt Brat. Love you. Take care. Should I? I don't know if I should even say who. I don't know if I should even say who liked it. I probably shouldn't say because it's a little embarrassing. It's funny, but it's a little embarrassing. I was like, it's not something someone ever interacted with. It's someone who brought a good bit of amusement and amusement to many of our friends over a couple of years back. That everyone laughed at a lot, made fun of a lot. Again, I have nothing personal to do with the guy whatsoever. But it was kind of fun. It's kind of funny that again, obviously the guy likes comics, which is cool. He likes some good comics. But man, oh man, that this guy clicked like on it was, so cool that Busiek did. No, not Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld and I actually agree on a lot of stuff, not politically or anything, but he likes a lot of the same comics I do. I'm surprised by that, Matthew. Yes, not Slott. I'm blocked by Dan Slott. I'm not going to say the guy's name because all I have to do is say a couple of words and you'll know who I'm talking about. And again, no big deal. I don't want anyone to go. Not that you would, but I wouldn't want anyone to go harass the guy or anything like that. I don't care. It's not a big deal. It's perfectly fine. Not offended by it. Doesn't bother me, obviously, because unlike him, I'm not a baby. And I just find it amusing is all. Let's see. Not even the ghost of Stanley there, Gwagnar. Let's see if I can give you a hint. I know you'll get it. I mean, it will take one word, but I'll give you about 2 or 3 words, and you'll get it. And that'll keep me from having to say it, because I really don't want to say his name. Not that it's a big deal, but you know. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for the words there? The word, the word, the word, the word. Nope, Fanty, nope, not shaking. He doesn't like anything. That guy, you think that guy would click like on anything? Not Jim Lee. Fanty, that guy doesn't like anything. He certainly wouldn't like Astro City. So let's see here. But here's the word. Are you ready for the word? All right, here we go. And this should do it. If you don't get this hint, then no, not Garth Ennis. He is a weed whacker, but no. No, this guy is more embarrassed. This guy, all right. I'm just going to say the word. Say a couple words for you. Save space and snowflake. That should be enough right there. That, if that doesn't do it, I can't. I mean, I can't. I'll have to write it in the chat because I don't want to say it. You could even just make fun of him. You don't have to put his actual name in there. Not that it's a big deal. I just thought it was kind of funny. Hey, Oliver Belamonte, good to see you. Yes, Fanty, you got it. Top smartest superheroes and supervillains in comics. Will you do it? Oliver, that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that one night. Good point. Indigo Montoya. Good one, Vinny. Your brain just exploded, Guagnar. So yeah, Fanty, you got it. It's no big deal. It's not like it's it's not an. I just thought it was kind of funny. I was like, whoa, really? Cal-El. Oh man, that guy. Guy's a strong word, but yeah. Yeah, he's. Oh no, Bushman. No, he doesn't know. Bushman now says, "Does he know who you are?" No, nobody knows who I am. I mean, no, he's never heard of me. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even hashtag Astro City. It just gets out there whether you hashtag it or not, I guess, because it happens to me. So he just saw it, and I was saying nice things about this comic because I do love it, and he clicked like. Nothing evil, nothing bad, but no, he doesn't. No, I'm nobody. He's He's well known. I'm a nobody with a nothing channel. Isn't it? The guy wouldn't know who I am. But yeah. So he just obviously likes the comic, which is good taste on his part. I think this is a brilliant comic. I mean, I just love Astro City. Guagnar, I should apologize for the tweet. Wow. I don't know about all that, my friend. I stand by the tweet, sir. And again, the guy who wrote the comic appreciated it. He didn't write. He's actually answered me sometimes on things I would say. I was intimidated by Nova two-dimensional cat. Yeah, the guy. Look. David Rayborn, what's up, cuz? He may have to rescind his like, huh, Bush? Well, I hope he doesn't. That would break my heart. I would be crushed that my boy, Safe Space Snowflake guy, would give a like and then take it away. How insensitive. How can people have no feelings? Yeah, that would be terrible. That's right. That's right, Chris Persia. You guessed it. You guessed it, buddy. Isn't that amazing? It's like, again, I guess you don't have to hashtag something, supposedly, for it to pop up in your feed. I'm not sure how that works. I do not. I'm terrible at tweets where I just tweet stuff. I don't even tweet that much. Once in a while, I'll put some comic book covers out, or if I'm reading a certain comic, I'll throw that out there. I stopped retweeting political stuff. It's just too much trouble. I don't care about it anymore. I'll retweet cool stuff, comics, and geek stuff here and there. And that's about it. And of course, the show ads and stuff, show plug. But I still don't understand fully how Twitter works sometimes, because I didn't I understand if you hashtag something, so I didn't hashtag it. I'm just called Astro. I didn't even call it the proper title, Kurt Busiek's Astro City. I just put Astro City. So I don't know. Vinny says, besides getting into Kingdom Come, I have also been very intrigued by the Phantom Stranger run, the Neil Adams era. Oh yes, absolutely. Dig those up, or you can find them. I can show you where you can find those online if you just want to read them. But also, if you want to collect them, that's great as well. I'm not saying that, because I don't know if those have been collected. I'm not sure that Neil Adams run on Phantom Stranger has been collected or not, but I can help you track down where to go look for them in terms of just like reading them online or whatever. Yes, because look, it's no big secret that their sites would just have every damn comic ever conceived online for free. You just go on there and read it whenever you want, no matter what the comic is. That's what I use. When it's a comic I either don't have or don't feel like unbear. If I do have it, don't feel like going digging it out. Just go on there. If I need to read it for whatever research reasons or what have you. What? He was intimidated by Nova, a two-dimensional character. Yes, true. He did say that as a kid from the New Warriors comic at the time with Nova. He was intimidated by him. Now, man, I loved Nova when I was a kid. Of course, I was a lot older than him, so but still, I was around probably the age he's talking about. I was that age when I first saw Nova, the Nova comic with Rich Rider, and loved him. So I don't know how you get soft enough to see Nova and get upset. I mean, I don't know how old he was. I don't care how old you were. I don't care if you're 4 years old. Nova shouldn't be able to upset you. Geez, it's not like it's Dracula or the Man Thing or Swamp Thing or some monstery character. Okay, a young child. Yeah. I don't know how old he was. So I'm guessing he was relatively young. It's like saying Superman scared you or Batman. Hey, Batman shouldn't even scare you. My God, I was less than 2 years old when I saw Adam West Batman, and I fell in love with comics and stuff. Superman, I loved Superman from the get-go, and the Thing from get-go when I was a young child. No superheroes scared me. If you are a young child and you are intimidated by unless it's like some grotesque monster thingy, I get that. But by a superhero like Nova, you are, wow. Of course. And look, all these 30-something years later, we see what the guy is. It's like, he's a wet noodle walking around. It's just, man, he must be easy to scare. Well, boo, and he's like running, I guess. I'm sure he says, I'm shocked he didn't need to seek shelter from a tweet by Clobberin Times. You'd figure seeing your name, your username might have put him in a fetal position. Yeah, it does have the word clobber in it, which is violent. D-Bud says it wasn't Nova that scared him. It was the Condor. Ask Nick. Hey, the Condor's scary now. Yeah, Nova's not even a big dude. Exactly. Yeah, I did hate that stupid mullet. That's what scared me. That was in New Warriors when Nova had an idiotic mullet. Boy, that's why one of the reasons I didn't buy that comic. I love Rich Rider, and they made him look like dog crap. He had silly big muscles. He had kind of like these big muscles and a freaking mop of hair. I'm like, that's not Rich Rider, you jerk offs. Hated that look. Bush says, if I was young now, I would be scared of Snowflake in Safe Space, except they won't publish that comic, so you wouldn't have to be. It is pretty. It's scared. They scared the hell out of me. But I know what you mean. But don't worry, because they're never going to publish that crap. The only thing that scares me about superheroes these days is when Hollywood announces another reboot of the character, says Khalil. Yeah. Yes. That's pretty scary and laughable. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Astro City, great comic. It's just a masterpiece. I mean, going back and doing a deep dive on these just out of order. I mean, now look, if you haven't read them, it's best to go in a prescribed order, which is very complicated, but I know it. I can set that order. But, sometimes it's kind of, if it's been years and years since I've read an issue. Was it the Sam Alexander Nova that scared? I don't know, but wasn't that the one with the big muscles? I didn't buy New Warriors. But Astro City, man, this comic. Did any of you ever read Marvels? Oh, Sam Alexander was a kid. Again, all I know is Rich Rider, and all I care about is Rich Rider. If Rich Rider's not Nova, then it's not a Nova comic book to me. And he looked like crap later. Well, Bushman Down, these covers are all by Alex Ross. He kind of helped co-create some of the comic, but the interiors are by Kurt Busiek and Brent Anderson. The covers are incredible. And basically, if you've never read Marvels was Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross, and the story was basically what would it be like to be the man on the street in the Marvel universe for its entire history, as chronicled by Phil Sheldon, a photographer for the Daily Bugle, kind of walking through Marvel history, and it was just a fascinating perspective. Great book. Well, he kind of took that, but he did a little bit different with it. In other words, sometimes Astro City will focus on the heroes, all of them which are knockoffs in some ways, amalgams, but not precise. They're not precise ciphers of your Marvel or DC characters. They're sort of like amalgams of various bits of certain Marvel and DC characters and tropes and all the things you have in Marvel and DC comics, hodgepodge into one universe. The big city of Earth. I mean, the big city on Earth where all that stuff started was Astro City. That's sort of like Marvel New York or DC Metropolis or DC Gotham or what have you, but all rolled into one. And they have Superman types and Batman types and Fantastic Four types and all these different types of heroes. And yet they're not like some of these carbon copy ciphers or knockoffs that you see in some of these other comics. There we go. Oh, that's just a Superman knockoff. Even though their Superman knockoff pretty much is, but everyone else is a little more black and white, a little more off the wall. And everything that can happen in fantasy pulp fiction of any kind can happen in Astro City, just like in any comic book. And this comic sometimes will take place from the perception of the hero, sometimes from the villain, other times from it's about people who are not heroes or villains. They live in Astro City as citizens, and there's stories about what it would be like if you lived in a real. He manages to bring you into the real world of these superheroes that live in, and make it show you what it feels like, what it would feel like if you lived in that world. This one here, I won't spoil anything. This is a great story about two enemies of epic proportions and how they're completely on two different sides. All the stuff you've ever seen in comics ever about enemies turned on its head, and they meet once a month. Once a year to have a truce and have dinner with each other. And the rest of the time they're he's trying to destroy Samaritan. The guy in the red is Samaritan. He's basically the Superman character of Astro City. And the guy he's similar to a Luthor type, but with a completely different type of story from that in origin and temperament, yet there's similarities. I cannot tell you how brilliant this story is. It just doesn't do it justice. So I just simply say, this is something you would sit down to read it and think, yeah, it's just Superman. Yes, it's some villain. So many layers on it that are extraordinary. Stories about, characters coming out of retirement who are former superheroes leading normal lives now who just get called back in. And I mean, it's such a focus. And again, what's great about Astro City, it's not deconstructionist like Watchmen, which I love Watchmen. It's not deconstructionist or anarchistic or nihilistic like The Boys and Irredeemable and all these other things. It doesn't have to be. You can take a very real look at what it would be like to live in the superhero universe while keeping all that inherent silliness that goes with it and still tell serious, brilliant stories. I'm gonna put a link out there in a minute. Bush. Let's see here. All right. Wrong one. There we go. I think I put the wrong one in there. Hang on a second. Yeah, I put the wrong one. Hang on a second. Crap. All right. Copy. There you go. Okay. Disregard that last link that I put in there. All right. This, if you enter any comic book you want on this link right here that I put in there, any comic you want, and then you got to click a search on it. Enter any search, you'll find any comic ever made in the history of the universe. And you can read it right there. It's just a very useful tool. This is a comic that can take your emotions into places you just really wouldn't expect to go. There you go. There you go. So that should, that if you just go to that link there, you just got to click, you got to just put the words Astro City in the search and it'll show you all the different titles. And I can tell you which way to go. You got to start with the miniseries, the first one, which I can put a link to that. Anyway, so I'll put a link to that in a second. These covers are incredible. These stories are great. Yeah, I mean, love it. So, I always recommend it. Start out with the first miniseries from 1995 or 6, whatever it is, 5, I think. And you can't go wrong. Again, you might not like it. So they'll start at the beginning, see what you think. It may not be your bag, and you've lost very little because it's go on there for a few minutes and see what you think. I would definitely start at the beginning, of course. In fact, let me be more specific here. Now that I think about it, which I do, from 1995. Okay, there we go. All right. Disregard what I sent you before. This is your starting point right here for Astro City. Anyone who's never read it, right there. And you can search for other comics on there as well. Start at number 1, boom. There you go. That takes you to the link to the first miniseries from 1995. That's where you got to start. You may like it, you may not, but you never know. If you like it, then you're in for an unbelievable ride. That's the first 6-issue miniseries, then later started as a series. Then there were a bunch of different specials. After the first regular series stopped, there was a bunch of specials and miniseries, and then eventually came back as a series again. So that's the best way to do it right there. I should have thought about that from the beginning, but I'm slow. Anyway, like I said, though, sometimes or like I often say, sometimes it's the little things in life that you love when you get something cool and something that can keep things cool as well. For example, I'm a big Legion of Superheroes fan. I know you guys are shocked to hear that. I got me a new Legion of Superheroes tumbler from the Bearded Online. So these guys make great stuff. Bearded t-shirts. Yay! I know it's nothing much, but I've been wanting a new tumbler anyway, and to get one with the Legion on it. What can I tell you? See, it's the little things in life. You just kind of have a little fun. Wagner, that's not true. How dare you, sir? How dare you slander me such a way, sir? What's wrong with you, boy? Yeah, not the case, buddy. But I appreciate it, though. How dare you? I should destroy you for this. I shall destroy you all. Yeah, so I love it, though. I like little things like that. My Legion. And I hate 5 years later. Good Lord. Did you, Wagner, I know you're kidding. So you didn't like that, did you? Matthew Pounder, no, that's not Perez. It's a different artist that they got working for them. They had them do that. So it's not Perez. It's not Giffen or anything like that. But it is my favorite. It's the Bronze Age Legion. You got Superboy and Tellus and Triplicate, Duo and Amsel, rather. Yeah, and you got Tyrock and over here, and you've got Dream Girl and Colossal Boy and Mad Reader Lad and Pharaoh Lad and Monel, Shadow Lass, Invisible Kid and Quizlet, Lightning Lad, Cosmic Boy, Chemical King, for some reason, Ultra Boy. They got Ultra Boy's costume kind of wrong. That's the only problem with that. Timberwolf, Starboy, Saturn Girl, Dream Girl, Light Lass. Can't see the other one here. Let's see. Yeah. Chameleon Boy, White Witch, Block, Element Lad, Princess Projectra, Shrinking Violet, The Great Wildfire, Karate Kid, Element Lad, Dawn Star. I can't see the other one that's only got. And I can't. Oh, there we go. It wraps around to, yeah, that's it. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I read it, but it was more out of a being. Yeah, I did too. Gwagnar. I remember when I was really aggravated right after the Magic Wars and after they ended the first Baxter series, and they went back to #1, and it was just volume whatever, Legion of Superheroes #1, and it was Giffen and Tom and Mary Beerbaum, and he gave him these stupid, like, non-superhero outfits and stuff, and jackets, and it's just no. And he was changing everything up. They took Super Bowl. I mean, he was already taken out of it before that, but. You know, Dwagnar, I'm going to tell you what, buddy. I really am touched by the sentiment. He says, I did get the first issue signed by everyone involved in it when I was at San Diego Comic-Con. I should send it to you. No, you know what? I would not be able to live with myself if I took that out of your possession. I couldn't do it, man. So I can't do that to you, sir. You're going to have to keep that. You're going to have to keep it. But hey, the thought that counts. So don't feel, no, look, never feel like I don't appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, don't put that to, exactly. Yeah. Giffen and Gordon were terrible. I mean, look, Giffen has ruined his style it wasn't Gordon's fault necessarily. But they were not a good art team. I agree with you on that. But also, look, I remember the art being so bad because he changed his style so much. There was like in the back of the letters page of each issue, there was a recap of everything that happened in the issue. Which they never did that before. And they did it because the artwork was incoherent. They can lie and say they didn't for that reason, but I believe that's why they did it. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Exactly, Gwag. Exactly. He would put everybody's face, in shadow. He's Keith Giffen. Is the guy who in the 80s, God, is when he was doing. He started in the 70s when he started out. He was just ripping off Kirby, and I mean ripping him off. I mean blatant rip off of Kirby. And then when he went to do Legion, he started ripping off. He's doing more of I guess it was closer to a Perez look, if I was going to say anything. But had a certain amount of his own style. And of course, Barry Maldstedt and other inkers, I thought, Bruce Patterson. Yeah. So then he comes along, he basically, I've talked about this before, his trencher art style. Yeah, before that, see, he went to, I don't know, it was some con out of the country. I'm not sure where it was, but he picked up a Venezuelan graphic novel called Alac Sinner by an artist by the name of Jose Munoz. And this was before he was doing, hey, Maddie's Daddy, what's up, buddy? This is before he was doing Legion. He was doing Legion, but it was before he did Ambush Bug, or I think. And he started, he didn't just start aping that style. He ripped off whole pages and panel arrangements and character arrangements and everything from that comic book for a lot of his comics. So much so that finally people started seeing it. And the Comics Journal at the time, which, I used to call them Comics Journal, but I love the Comics Journal. I thought it was great. But anyway, they had they started a regular article based upon what he does called the Swipe File. That was started because of Keith Giffen, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe Rich Buckler, because Buckler used to do it too. Buckler didn't just ape styles. There were times that he did kind of take people's panels and stuff. But I'm sure they're not the only artists that ever did it. But Giffen got called down on it by the Comics Journal. He didn't appreciate it, but man, for Ambush Bug and for some Legion issues, he took whole panels, whole pages, and just redid them for his own comic, for out of the Alex Center graphic novels from over there. There were Venezuelan graphic novels, and there were black and white ones, and everyone was like, What is this style Giffen's doing now? I don't understand it. Doesn't look like his other stuff. Now there were some hoity-toity Comics Journal people that were like, "No, this is why they were pissed off at him." By the way, when they started seeing this at first, they're like, "Wow, what an original style! He's so good, man. This is so much better than his generic funny book." They were all praising him because he was trying something new and innovative and different. They thought. And then after them praising him, when they found out that this was completely swiped from another artist, they were embarrassed. So they went out to get him. They went to Swipe File and they went and made fun of him. They went after him. I don't know if he got in a lawsuit with him or not, but he wasn't, they didn't like him. At least that's how I remember it. And I was following all that stuff back then. Yet Rob Liefeld and Greg Land were definitely swap filers. Greg Land didn't Greg Land just like trace pictures of photographs of people? He's another one. He's not an artist. Warrior of Justice, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. He says, "Hey, Clobber Lane, I really like Guardians 3. Had me in feelings. Did you see it?" "Yes, sir. I did see it, and I really enjoyed it." I agree with you. I thought it was a lot of fun and a lot of heart, and it got me in those, got some emotion out of me as well. And so, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Warrior of Justice. Good to see you, my friend. And yeah, I liked it. I'd like to see it again. So, and also my other problem with Giffen, when he started getting in on the plots, he's the one that killed Karate Kid the first time, and he killed him a couple of times. He hated Karate Kid. Well, I love Karate Kid. It was he's a top Legionnaire to me. Anyway, by the time he was abusing that style on the Volume 2 of the Legion Baxter, I guess it was called Legion Volume 3 or whatever, his art was so bad, and his stories were incomprehensible, so they had to explain them in the back of the freaking comic. It was awful. Yeah, the rumor was Greg Land traced from Playboy and other adult magazines. Greg Land traced over stuff and became an artist, famous as an artist who didn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't move a pencil at all. I'd have to ask Hungry Boy if he were here, but Greg Land is the one I think that, from what I've heard, can't draw anything. Like I said, he just traced over stuff. So I don't know, Warrior of Justice. Well, he used a computer, and a lot of people are using computers and stuff these days. But it's different what he does. Yeah. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What's gonna do when the wheel was there, honey? Yeah. So let's see how the poll is doing before we get out of here tonight. All right, with 38 votes, that's a respectable number of votes, I say. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I'm going to close the poll at 38. So this is the third poll I've done like this. And the first couple of times were pretty ardent. I mean, they were pretty solid no. They were not going to go see. I know one of them was 80-20 for not going to see Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. I had 52 votes. So again, I'm going to get big audiences for the streams. And so it's not like a lot of people, granted. It's anecdotal, granted. But the first one was pretty huge one way. And then the next one, I remember one of them, if not both, being very close to. One was 80% for sure. Another one was pretty close to it. I think both were 80%-ish. So we're up in there. This one, and the question was, because now it's the time it's out, it's been out in theaters already. Did you go see, or are you planning to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? And now we're at 63% no. That's almost a 20% drop in these polls. And yes, that's 36%. I don't know what the answer is. Is it is word of mouth helping? I don't think word of mouth is going to save this movie. I mean, people are saying it's underperforming, and I think it'll still do okay, but not yet. I mean, it may well underperform because of just so many extenuating circumstances. Warrior of Justice says, are you excited for James Gunn's Superman and now after Guardians Clobberin? Not really. Not excited about that, but I'm not close to it either, Warrior. I mean, the guy, if you look at all three of his Guardians movies, the guy's very talented. He can tell a good story. He can get good emotions out of people. He can be creative. He can fall to his baser instincts and do things that are a little annoying sometimes too. But he's capable of doing, and I have no doubt in his capability to do a good Superman. My questioning is his willingness to do it right, and I'm doubtful of his willingness to do Superman correctly. That I'm going to have to see. I'll wait and see. But that, and again, it's not that he's not capable of it. We've already look. The guy's talented. He's a lot of things that pisses off a lot of people, and I understand it. I'm one of them. But he is very talented and very capable if he put his mind to it and showed the proper respect to the character. His capability, I don't question. It's his willingness that I don't have a lot of faith in. So I know it's not much of an answer, but we'll see. I mean, anything is. I mean, look, it's not outside the realm of possibility that they will treat Superman with the proper respect. I don't know. I've not seen him be particularly respectful to much of anything, even though I like this. Like I said, I like his Guardian movies. Oliver Belamonte, good to see you, Oliver. He says, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has made $289 million worldwide. Unfortunately, it had a budget of $250 million. Okay, yeah. It's got a lot of time, but we'll see how it's going to have. We'll just got to see what the legs are like now. Now at that point where it's out of the gate, to some say to a sluggish start. How will it falter? Will it stand? Will it stay relatively consistent and get? We'll see. Bush pan down. I don't entirely disagree with that statement. I mean, well, you said Bush pan down says Superman done correctly can't be done in current culture. I'll quibble slightly and say that I believe that it's unlikely. I think it can be, but it will require a gigantic set of stones on somebody to stay the course with him. So I would use correctly. Is unlikely to be done in current. I would say unlikely. You say can't. I say they definitely can, but it will require, in my opinion, it would require stones of the person doing it that probably don't exist. But so can, but highly unlikely. So we're not entirely in entire disagreement. Just a bit of a slight quibble there. There's another caveat to Gunn making a good Superman movie, whether or not WB will allow him to. That's a good point, Chris. Yeah. Darcipio says, Clobby, do you think some fandom YouTubers who are hating on Disney is having an effect on fans not going to Guardians 3? Just wondering. Oh, no, that's an interesting question. No, I don't think so. I mean, you can't entirely dismiss it. There may be people who will listen to what some of their favorite YouTubers say and decide to either go or not go. I'm sure they exist, but they may exist. I mean, I can't honestly say they don't. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I just don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that. I think most people like, again, absolutely, there's no question. I'm sure there's some people say, well, so-and-so said it sucks, so I'm not going to go see it. But there are plenty of other people who will say, like, this YouTuber said it sucks, but I went and saw it anyway, and I liked it. But I still like that YouTuber. They just don't agree. So, it could be. It's unquantifiable. I have no idea of how many people, Darth, do that. So I tend not to worry about it too much. I mean, I doubt anyone listens to me, and when I say something sucks and they don't go see it, if they were planning to go see it. In other words, if you were like excited to see something and I come along and say, it sucks, then I hope you don't listen to me. I hope you go, well, if I wanted to see it, I'm going to go see it. And if you do, that way I have no responsibility for you going to see it or not going to see it. I just tell you what I think. That said, there are probably a few, but it's unquantifiable. I don't know how you could ever measure it. Let's say there's a very popular YouTuber who has has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and he hates on something that a few people agree with him, and then a few people don't agree with him, and the people who still like his channel will go see it, even just to see it for themselves. I think most people are going to sway towards trying to go see it for themselves, but there will be people who say, so-and-so didn't like it, that's good enough for me. I'm just not sure how big it is. So I'm all over the place on that one because honestly, I don't know. I'm sorry about the dumb answer. So good news, Daredevil Born Again production has been suspended due to the writer strike. Thank you. That's why I hope they never have good. That needed to be too. Woo, good Lord. The only thing that gives me a tiny sliver of hope, says Khalil, is the restoration of the American way to Superman's slogan, which Gunn has stated will be back. But I'm not holding my breath. Now I hear you there. Rod Thunderheart, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you, bud. Man, oh man. And there's another good point. Matthew Pounder says the casting will make or break Superman Legacy. I don't know. It's good. Well, I'm not so sure the casting will. Matthew, I think certainly doesn't hurt. Henry Cavill was cast in 10 years ago in a piece of garbage called Man of Steel. And even I was like, that guy looks like he should be able to play Superman. And it turns out, of course, it had nothing to do with him. No one really hated him. Just the people some people liked the movie, but those of us who hated the movie, we're always quick to say this has nothing to do with Henry Cavill. We hate it because it's not Superman. And in a proper Superman movie, we would kind of like him. So I'm not so sure that the casting will do it. Christopher Reeve is so brilliant in Superman the movie, but the movie was also, some don't like it, but the movie hit enough of us and we loved it. It was 2, 3, and 4 that started getting the controversy, and he turned out he was so great that I can watch those other Superman movies, but they didn't do well, no matter how good he was. So you never know, man. You just never know. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. You never know, Matthew. I mean, the casting helps now. But I will say that the casting has to be good, though. But again, it's such a gray area. Again, good casting will be nice, but it won't save it. Bad casting, yeah, bad casting could kill it. Yeah, it's fair enough. Let's see. No, I'll tell you what, my friends. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. It was fantastic of you to hang with J Man and myself for our earlier show. Super on a purple haired weirdo. Well, see, there's the thing. I almost wouldn't put it past Gunn to make a ridiculous casting. He's going to have to show us that he's willing to cast this thing right. So, anyway, show notes. I had a fantastic time earlier hanging with our good friend J Man, doing our Earth B Bob Haney presentation. A lot of fun, buddy. Thank you out there. Thank you all who attended that. I really appreciate it. Thank you all who are lurking, by the way, and anyone watching this on a rewatch. Appreciate you so much. Let's see here. Tuesday and Thursday night, I'll be hanging out at the great Tom Connor's Midnight's Edge After Dark with those that August group. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for those shows. Hopefully Wednesday night, Loki and 24, and I will have the comic book roundtable, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will definitely have Wild Card Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for that. And Clobby's Clubhouse will be in session. Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, same Clobby channel, with, of course, Raquel and Mark. Looking forward to that. Hopefully over Nick Weiser's channel on Friday nights, 8:30 Central Standard Time for the comic shop, the Friday night comic shop gang. Echo, is it Echo or Eco? Echo 3. Echo 3 it is. Echo Base. Not Echo Base, Echo 3. Good to see you, Echo. What else? Oh, and then, of course, Saturday night Star Trek. Same Trek time, same Clubby channel. 4 more episodes reviewed of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Having so much fun with that. Usually the Sunday Night Geekery. We'll see if there's going to be one this week. We don't know yet. So, but I want to thank everyone for being here with me tonight. You guys are fantastic. You've been amazing as always. Shout out the great Wrenches, the great Eric K, Chris Persia. Thank you, buddy. D. Bud Martin, thank you so much, my friend. Lord Thoth, lives, long live the Legion. The great J-Man, appreciate you, brother. Hungry Boy, Kal-El, good to see you there, buddy. Maddie's daddy. And Thor from Vegas, and of course, Fandy Outsider. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Let's see. Who else was up in here tonight? Andy Masterson. Thanks for popping in again, buddy. Good to see you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Eco 3, it was great to see you. Wagnar, thanks for being here, buddy. Oliver Belamonte, thank you so much. Rod Thunderheart, brother. Good to see you, my friend Matthew Pounder. Yes, indeed. Good to see you, buddy. Bush Pan Down, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Stunt Brat was here earlier. Love you, Stunt Brat. Let's see here. Darcipio, thanks for hanging out, dude. Good to see you. Thank you. The great Mexican Iron Man was here earlier. Shout out, Mike. Good. I'm honored when you pop in, brother. It means a lot to me, buddy. Thank you so much. Warrior of Justice, thank you. Real Wade Nation, thank you for being here. Let's see here. I don't want to forget anybody. It takes me a second, but I don't want to forget anybody. Vinny Whitlock, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I appreciate you. Let's see. It won't miss anybody. David Rayborn, my cousin. Good to see you, cuz. Backtracking so I can get everybody. Vampity vamp. Blunt Philly Reviews. It is so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Ezra Goldstein, shalom. Dave C, buddy. All right. Let's see here. Kitty Chow, roll tide. Jack's Momo, I love you, Jack's Momo, and happy birthday to Jack from the Clobberin Time gang at Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk. Let's see here. Brian Hepburn, buddy. All right, my friend. So many great people here tonight. Jay Picasso, hey there. Thank you, Jay Picasso. Sorry, Picasso. No, Picasso. Thank you so much for being here. Juxtapose. Thank you for stopping by. Lemon Pie. Good to see you. Thank you, John Rupus. Glad to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Anyone out there lurking, by the way, we really appreciate you. And anyone watching on a download or a rewatch, play, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Dadman and the Dadman clans was here. All right. Claude Salling was here. And I want to thank a special thanks to the lovely Miss Susie Satin for joining. I think she joined it earlier in our stream earlier today on our Bob Haney stream. Miss Susie Satin, welcome to Clobberin Times. Much love to you. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much. And I think that covers everybody. And so, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope we started the week off at least sort of okay, huh? And yeah. So, hey, clobber this week into Mother's Day. So, good night, everybody. Clobber on.
It's Clobberin time. It's Clobberin time! Clobberonimo! I just love Clobberin time!